Hi, I'm Emer O'Hora, Head of Legal here at Johnson Hana. Welcome to our first Conversation With series. I'm delighted to be joined today by my colleague Nadine McMahon. Nadine is a legal director here at Johnson Hana, or legal alchemist as we like to call them. Nadine, you're very welcome.
Nice to be here.
Nadine, I think, first of all, just to explain to everybody, could you tell us a little bit about your role and how you came about to work here with us?
My job title, as you mentioned, is legal alchemist. Probably a bit of a funny title, but that's kind of the point. What I do is work with our team and our clients to build legal solutions and really just sprinkle a bit of magic on what is kind of a traditional, sometimes outdated industry.
What really motivates you about the role?
Lots of things. I mean, I think for me, I spent the best part of 10 years working as an M&A lawyer. And so I think having spent all of that time in my career, I kind of identified that there was a lot of kind of inflexibility and really strain on people in the industry. I teach yoga and I work as a coach with people. And I think I'm very inspired by the idea of doing things differently, finding new ways to innovate, and really just like having the freedom and the flexibility to do that within our career, within our roles. And when I came to talk to Johnson Hana, I was really inspired by the mission, making the lives of lawyers better and more enjoyable. Every day that's pretty motivating here. It's great to be able to work with clients to build solutions that really get to the heart of the issue, but also to see our consultants kind of having work that allows them to thrive and to bring some flexibility into their lives.
Great, yes, it's really two sides of it there. Yeah. Just given that you mentioned our mission statement to make the lives of legal leaders better and happier, if you had a magic wand, say, is there a particular pain point within the industry that you would like to wave your wand and fix? What would that be?
Can I only pick one thing?
That's a good question. No, we've loads of time. Your top two.
I think the biggest thing that has frustrated me about the industry is the level of strain that people are under. I've been really lucky all through my career, worked with incredibly talented, smart, creative, brilliant people. But I just think it's a consistent issue to kind of see the level of strain, stress, exhaustion, burnout sometimes that people are dealing with in the industry. And I think sometimes we've kind of lost the run of ourselves with that. So I guess if I had a magic wand to change something, that would be it. Unfortunately, I don't know that the expectations are going to change, but I think what we're doing here is helping to support the delivery of those expectations. So hopefully giving people back a little bit more time, a little bit more flexibility, and kind of creating the space where they're able to thrive in their roles and have the ability to think more strategically, create from a place of kind of enjoying what we're doing rather than just kind of meet the next demand that comes through the door.
You've been recently acquired by Eudia. So just on the point of technology, how do you see the future state? Do you see technology really shaping or innovating the work of lawyers? And back to the magic wand point, like trying to not necessarily reduce the workload, but like, I suppose effectively what you're saying there is work smarter, right?
I remember when I was in law school, probably longer ago than I want to admit right now, I'll probably age myself by saying this, but I remember the year I did my final exam was the last year that we kind of were allowed to bring books in. I trained in London, so like you for your exams, you were all on these tiny tables and you'd bring like all these, legislation, all the bits, And the whole exam is like people throwing books off the table as they're kind of getting their citations. Yeah. And the following year, they brought in a rule that you could bring an iPad with all of the legislation, etc., like uploaded onto the iPad. And there was lots of kind of uproar about it because people were saying like, you can kind of control F this and find things faster. And I remember kind of thinking, like, if I was paying a lawyer sitting in an office to do this work and they were sitting there with their books, like kind of trying to find the right citation, I'd be like, that's money down the drain pretty much. And I think that was an evolution, finding a faster, more kind of efficient way of doing things that still worked. People in that situation were no less of a lawyer because they were using an iPad compared to a book. This is just another evolution. Like, we have to move with the times. Everything else in the world is moving with the development of technology, so we have to too. And actually, I just think it's really exciting. Like, there's so much more open to us now that wasn't there before. Like, I've spent probably the best part of my 20s, reviewing contracts, doing due diligences and things.
It's a lot of time.
Yeah, that when I look at what Eudia is able to do with, other technology, it's incredible the amount of that mundane work that you can kind of cut through and actually kind of get to the more exciting part where you're kind of like making the decision as to what the next business step is, or creating some interesting drafting, or having a conversation with someone about what the next step is, armed with all of that information. So I think it's not necessarily, we're not stepping away from being lawyers, we're kind of arming our lawyers with a lot of really, really, really interesting tools. Like, that feels really exciting to me. Unfortunately, I don't have a time machine to get my 20s back, but you know, hopefully it makes life easier for people in the future.
Well, absolutely. So just on that, since you think about the more junior lawyers coming into this legal industry, we can't change how we were trained and similar experiences. We could talk for hours on all those fun stories.
To hear that.
No, but on that, like, what would your advice be to someone entering legal industry now, if you could give some tips? Or
yeah, I mean, lots of things, but I think probably the thing that stands out really is to just be adaptable. It's an industry that can make you feel like you have to kind of fit into a particular box and stay there. As people, we adapt, we grow, and industries are no different. So I think, like, having an open mind, having some curiosity, understanding where your skills maybe will transfer into different areas, and just being open and curious. We work for a very long time now, so, you know, it's important to enjoy what we're doing. So I think having that kind of curiosity and adaptability is really key.
even taking the thread of curiosity and journeys, all of that good stuff. Obviously here we're very focused on augmented intelligence, which, as you know, is very much about bringing together people and enabling them to do their best work. How, when we talk about journeys, have you seen that evolved, even since your time here, since you joined Johnson Hana?
I mean, I think it's something that really motivates me. I think two things you've said there. The first is, we've all kind of seen legal tech that kind of goes and sits in some imaginary drawer somewhere and doesn't get used. And I'm really glad that that's not what we're about, because we're kind of wrapping it with people. And, it's that fusion that I think is really important. What really excites me about it is this kind of move away from the billable hour. If I never have to bill another hour of my time again, I'll be very happy, and I hope no one else has to as well. I think it's so motivating to be incentivized to deliver an output, to deliver value. And I think that never really computed for me in the legal industry, of having to attune your value to the amount of hours that you're working, finding better ways of getting to, often I think, kind of a better place, really, because by the time you get there, you've stayed up for the best part of 2 weeks reviewing contracts or whatever it is. You're armed with the information in a really holistic way that helps you kind of then go out and make a really well-informed decision.
Absolutely. And to your point, you haven't had to go through all of that material, so that you're maybe up, I've drank a lot of coffee and up very late to make that decision. So yeah, I think it's really powerful. I mean, what makes me really happy about it is you still have all the output that you might have gotten from staying up all night doing that, because we have all these kind of tools for citation and things. So there's all that comfort there. Brilliant. Okay, well, we've covered loads. Is there anything else, Nadine, just kind of as parting words that you think we haven't touched on there, I think, like to add?
I guess the one message that really sticks with me and resonates with me about working here, and it's really mirrored by Dan Fox and by Emer, our CEO at Eudia, this idea of kind of working towards your best potential. I think that's really what we're all about here. For everyone, it's just getting curious about what that might be for you and how you can get there through your work.
Brilliant. And just because you brought it up, you mentioned this to me when we were preparing, there's a connection with the name of Eudia. Maybe, would you like to share that?
I think we're both kind of people who look for signs and synchronicities and things like that. We were on an all-hands call recently, and Emer was speaking to this idea of eudaimonia, which is the kind of founding principle of Eudia, which is pretty much what I've just spoken to there, this idea of working towards your fullest potential. It's interesting because, as I mentioned, I have my own business where I teach yoga and do some kind of mentorship and coaching with people. And in all of those business plans, this idea was also my founding principle of eudaimonia, and it's really aligned with a lot of the philosophies we work with in yoga. And so I definitely knew I was at the right place when I was in that meeting.
Love it. Brilliant. Thanks so much for sharing. Dean, we'll do a quick fire round now, if that's okay. Are you ready?
Bit scared, but yeah,
no, don't be scared. You ready?
I'm ready.
Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Good answer, yeah. Night owl or early bird?
I'd like to think I'm an early bird, but I'm probably a night owl.
Favourite book or podcast?
Favourite book is Shantaram.
Oh, lovely. And if you had one word that you could use to describe your work style, what would it be?
I'm glad I get to choose this word and not my colleagues. Curious.
Fabulous. Love that, Nadine. Thanks a million.
Thanks, Emer.